How is Skills still alive? Somebody kill this man! Don't let him live so comfortably and easily. He's on a madness to try and stay alive. Who knows? Maybe he can pull off some crazy victory at this point. Because EMP comes through and Elite say, you know what? Screw it. Let's push Unreal.
Let's go and capitalize, get the KP that we need off the EMP, but they lose out on Dark. They have to keep their eye still on Skittle, but with Unreal Nightmare staying alive, Stallions, Skittle, don't forget, he's trying to creep up from behind him. One member of Unreal Nightmare is keeping their eyes, and they did lose out on one. Davis was very low because of the caustic gas, and they don't have their own caustic up. Rails now takes it away with Skittles trying to go in, but Unreal Nightmare, they hold their ground, they held their position, and they win game number 1. Having to be careful with the Wrecking Ball, but still staying alive for now and getting the res onto Skittle.
Yeah, somehow they get back up to a full 3. HBM, Zest first both go down. Falcons were in the kill feed, getting some of those kills on their side. Flat also eliminated. That was the team that Stallions were fighting originally, and actually Stallions pushed up onto them. They said, screw it, you're not going to grief us. Let's just take this fight outright. And now they reward themselves with positioning on this southwest side as NIP continue to push in on the northwest. And now they'll actually be in one of the prime positions on the west side of this zone as they continue to grief and press Thuggets. And it looks like Thuggets are going to try and escape, but they are going to struggle.
While NIP are hugging the fence line too, and Stallions pushes in to close in the gap. This is going to be a scary fight. Falcons are not trying to overextend, but they do hear this fight happening. They're looking at Stallions. They're dancing around these portals. They've lost out on Albert lately. 1-2. Sacred is giving them a little dance, baiting them through the Watson fence too. They're feeling the pressure with the zone about to close in, as well as the riot drill.
Was that his own riot drill hurting him, or was it someone else's? I don't know. It's hard to keep up at this point. But Sacred on a madness, or at least he was, until he got taken out as other teams started to get involved. Kurev, last alive, but has that Kraber that you were mentioning, but I don't think it's going to help him as a full 3-man pushes. NIP go down. 7 squads now remain. It's Purple Slushy who pick up the pieces.
At the top of the food chain here to dive in on their victim, Purple Slushy. Clean that up, and they move forward, looking at Thuggets, who are trying to, well, that's a solo, trying to go forward, and unfortunately for that solo, getting called out. How's going to be able to clean that up? 6 squads now left, and Team Falcons in prime time, uncontested on the northern side of the zone.
And remember, we still haven't seen Team Falcons win a single match so far. This could be the one, potentially. They have so much coverage of this northern side, and they are looking to try and create even more space here. Hal has to be careful. Notices that he was a little bit vulnerable and does back off. But Falcons more than happy to try and capitalize and take this fight, which will they do so because Purple Slushy were only really the threat on this northern side.
But while 2 of the members of Falcons are pushing up ahead, Elite Esports are trying to sneak behind them. Listen to this communication as Falcons now actually harass Elite Esports enough to force them to back off into the Alter TP. Another one.
Nice shots again, though. And Falcons, that's another one that bites the dust, and they continue to press on. They continue to take advantage because they don't want to allow there to be a reset. And actually what they're doing very well is 2 are forcing, being aggressive, getting involved. And then there's just 1 player who's left on the other side who's anchoring at the moment to keep that space, to keep this northern side of the circle. But now they move in. 3 squads now remain. Elite Esports and Husk, the other 2 teams.
Husk get eliminated, and Guild is going crazy. Following up with Hal getting another knock. It's almost like both of these players are fighting to be the kill leaders in this lobby. Guild follows up. Everybody's stuck inside the corner, and there's nowhere to run. You go through the Watson fence, and Falcons are your champions. What a play, taking their first win of the season.
First win of the season, and it's about darn time. That's the expectations that you put on yourselves when you are considered one of the best teams in the world. So many of them so far in Pro League.
It's kind of nuts, but I like Grow Towers. I don't necessarily love them as an ending. I would, right? I love landing Grow Towers. They're a lot of fun. However, it is really spicy. I think that's what makes it interesting. However, it's such a unique way to approach a fight at the start. It's the tiered chaos, but it's also the questionable loot and trying to scavenge enough just for you, even when your teammates need a gun. But, of course, the rotation aspect as well. Kurev looks to rotate here with the Maggie Ball, throws the Watson interception pylon from Cole, and Kurev and Vayne will stabilize here on the top of one ridge and at the bottom of another as they see a team having to jump in and out of Grow Towers, and they know teams are sitting down below as well. Defensive bombardment, they're not worried about that. Actually, they are. Interception pylon somehow got killed. Cole, I don't think he realized it until very late. He may go down here.
Oh my goodness, just taking so much damage from the bombardment as well, and there might be more coming, especially when now Gibby works now, and you get to split it into 3 little ones, and NIP are being absolutely bombarded as they get taken down. Elite Esports also full 11 and the next to go, and we're down to 4 squads. Legacy are able to survive. Source Gaming just below them, HBM as well. The only team not in a Grow Tower is going to be Nice Guys, but Legacy getting involved in this engagement.
Yeah, in those Grow Towers, so valuable to have the defensive bombardment be thrown out of it. Now it's up to YR6. He's got a really good angle, though. You got to come up the stairs. He knows that's the moment. He knows that was the moment. He's bought a little bit of time, but it may not be enough. He had to get that kill. Now he's going to missile swarm. It's going to miss. It's another Valkyrie he's fighting against. YR6, come up big for us. If you're going to do it with the Hemlock, you got to do it now. He's got 1 HP and a dream. And yet that dream is still alive. Still sitting behind the knockdown. That's it. Legacy eliminated. It's a top 3 here. And you've got Cody, Sang, and Ambino on the Nice Guys holding a great spot from range.
Yeah, Nice Guys in just such a good position now because both HBM and the remainder of Source are going to have to dive out of this Grow Tower. And Nice Guys are just raining down terror from above. And it's just surely a matter of time. But maybe HBM can reposition and do something. But the Wrecking Ball now comes out to cause havoc.
Uh-oh, and they're going to push on the other side as well. Sang's got to back off. Oh, he's got an armor swap ready to go. Goes into the ultimate as well. Might just buy some time if he needs. But Nice Guy's certainly in control of this one. Has the Hemlock with a breach charge if he needs. And there's a riot drill, forces him down. Valkyrie will take the lower side. Trying to get that pesky Valk up into the air. Cody's up for the task. Aim is right where he needs it to be. And Nice Guys. Well, they were the bad guys in this lobby. They take first place. Send the rest of the teams home.
They say Nice Guys finish last, but in this case, it's a first place finish for them, and a deserved one.
Playing up the low ground, literally 3 teams piled up. And by the way, none of them are inside this next zone. Only a corner of this building is in that next zone, and you have to go on the outside, out in the open. Team Falcons, they're hungry. They see full 11 now, and they want to be able to make sure that they get this northern side for free.
Here come the bombardments. 1, 2... and the third is going to hit even harder as Falcons now will utilize these bombardments just to regain position a little bit, force those teams away. Full 11 do get eliminated, and now it's a bubble battle underneath this building as well, because both teams just trying to do as much damage as possible before they have to back out and maybe reposition, because when those bubbles go down, you're going to be so vulnerable to other squads. And then almost identical thing happening at the moment between Oblivion and Flat, and this is a huge fight, because if you can win this one, you'll have the entirety of the Southwest.
Ayo, actually a double bubble here, coming back to back, and now Big Louie with the rest of Flat are stuck against the wall, but there's so many other teams. We saw what Falcons are able to do, but they have to look to the backs because Nuggets actually were forced to take a roundabout rotation outside of zone and are stuck on the other side of the wall. Vlorcy, as he's trying to fly, hopefully they don't hit him. Blink wants to capitalize, get some free KP. Monsoon and the rest of Oblivion had rotated so early, and they have taken so many fights. Look at the damage output that Monsoon has put down, and they've also forced out one of the bubbles, so they're holding on to that bombardment. As you could have those 3. It's so crazy. Sacred also putting another point on the board.
I really hope all these players have had their energy drinks, their Red Bull, their coffee, because I cannot stress enough how locked in you have to be for a final circle like this with all these bombardments, all these bubbles. It is very difficult to stay focused as Stallions get sent on. The slam comes through, but Alberelli could still do some real damage with this PK. Sends himself in, but is it going to be enough on his own? Misses, whiffs, can connect, and Alb is not going to get the job done, so he leaves Sacred on his own. But Sacred does find one. Maybe, just maybe, Sacred can do it. No, he can. There is a third party as S2 survive on a slither.
Zach Mazer barely surviving, literally 1 HP, pulls out the shield bat. I love how we saw Sacred just try to fly away and then get right behind him in slow motion. But the other team's keeping him in their sight. Another bombardment. Oblivion have used up that Gibby bubble, and they're looking up at Team Liquid, who, by the way, were able to also look at Falcons, who were trying to keep control over onto this north side. They fell earlier on. Team Liquid and Oblivion up on this high ground, while S2 are trying to play very quiet here before they are forced to drop down. Zach calling in the bubble.
Also crazy, we looked at both Liquid and Oblivion before this match, and we were saying they were struggling on Olympus, but now on Storm Point, they look far more comfortable as they are both in the top 4, and they need these points. They're both in, what, 17th and 18th respectively at the moment, as S2 will dance down, they get behind the shield, and they will survive and utilize this loot bin as well as a little bit of extra cover, but there is bombardments flying everywhere. It's hard to really see what's happening for a lot of these players, so you just have to ride it out, wait for that bubble to go, and then suddenly you have to launch an attack.
It's like a screaming cat meme. You just wish for the best here, but you've used up the bubble and you see the opportunity. You can sandwich the team right in front of you. Team Liquid in trouble, have used up their own bubble. S2 also keeping their eye on Flat, because Flat are just waiting to third party this. You talk about Carter popping up. Team Liquid in panic, going down. Flat now could wrap around S2. Team Liquid stuck between Oblivion, who are also not trying to overextend. Final zone now closing in.
Flat arguably in one of the best positions, and also worth noting, they have the Rampart. We've mentioned the Rampart win rate in ALGS, and it might be increased here with this performance. You go up in the air if you're Carter, but Sheila will rip you right back down as Team Liquid eliminated here, and Flat looking to dominate.
The fact that all of S2 took that Valkyrie ult, Flat, fully healed, are waiting to shoot the RE45 and waiting to get the dub, because Flat, the only Rampart team in the lobby, take game number 4.
Rampart stock value starting to rise.
The teams in front of him, but playing on opposite side of the cages, you're right. Which one is the dinosaur? Which one is the handler? We don't know who's going to be the threat here just yet, but it looks like it's S2. They find a kill onto Flat, and now it's going to be NIP versus S2. Kurev already without almost all of their health. Unless a Sky Nade comes out here, we're going to be looking for a Valkyrie Skyward Dive or just a survive off.
I was wondering, Rain, who's going to be the T-Rex? They're all of them are going to be shooting at the evac tower. It's the standoff that you mentioned, and they have another evac tower. Can we get another one? Because it's just going to be inevitable. They're just going to try to shoot it down. No one's going to make that.
They do.
But they go over. They use it as bait. And S2 losing at Lord of the Rings, but it's fine. With Zach still alive, S2 Dreams keep it together, and they take game number 5.
Wow, that was a fire in-game, Vicky. We have not seen a lot of those.
Taking this nice and slow, the calm before the storm, as Kimchi is up on the high ground together with the rest of us, and Nice Guys mirroring that. We take to the skies on the Valkyrie. Where will we go?
That Dark Veil is going to be important, though, to cut this circle in half. And as you said, up into the skies means that Husk could impact this final zone. Wherever they land, they could ruin someone's game and help someone else's. Nice Guys wait. Stallions from above will be able to kill the remainder of those players who did come down. And sadly, Husk will fall. But Stallions, maybe the damage has been done against them here. Husk might have just ruined their chances.
Still alive! They're still alive, but so are Nice Guys here, and they're getting more KP back to back. This is insane. It's only up to Cody. 3 squads left. Nice Guys. Skittle now. Stallions. The fact that they're still here means that they get the dub and they finish in that first place spot.
Skittle Cakes, you absolute beauty! Pulls off a madness there, and Stallions will take the victory and take the match day here as well. As I say that in the kill feed, GG are getting knocks as well, so you've got to be careful. Kraber gets the job done as well. August and Hungry, as I was speaking about them, they get eliminated.
Suki, more like Tsunami with the way he's been slamming down these Kraber shots, and he's got the infinite ammo too to add. They hear the fighting going down. They've lost out on Blast before. They're playing off the other side of the wall, and with the drones flying about, Jans is just trying to dance around this portal now, playing behind the knockdown shield. A lot of the action collapsing over on that southeastern side. It's going to be Bless versus Heavener. They're playing split up here. Zipline Mafia on the back end, though, least contested when Gaming Gladiators are on their last legs. He cannot clutch it out. Brian Nicky do get eliminated, and Gaming Gladiators very close to following suit, but it is up to Zane, and we've seen Zane clutch before as the res comes in for Heavener.
Yeah, Heavener are still alive, but all the meanwhile, the Horde are dominating the northern side at the moment, and they're going to be happy to go up against any sort of alliance between GG and Heavener, who are both trying to reset, but Horde are not pushing because look at the high ground that they have here, Vicky. They can just wait and see who is going to pop their heads up first. They're in a fantastic spot to win this one, but if Heavener want to try and win this game, they have to utilize what they have in terms of their legend selection here. Can you maybe get a little bit of a portal on the go to try and get behind enemy lines? That's going to be the real question.
Comes a clutch when no one was looking over at Horde. Horde having a lot easier of a time with this rotate. 9 impulse right behind the rampart walls with the triple take and the prowler. Looking like he's on the sticks, lacking some sort of ammo here, and we see the player playing right behind the pillbox here too. And it's the passive of the altar that also comes in clutch, allowing for some more of these swaps. The G7 finding some more of these knocks in the hands of Gaming Gladiators, now stolen from them after they found themselves in that trouble. Now 9 just looking ahead, the EMP here too. And we get to have our final 3 squads go down in this action here, Dan.
Heaven will lose one, but remember, Zayn is still going to play a very big part in this final circle as well. And we've been speaking about how incredible he can be in those 1vx situations. Well, now is the time to earn your paycheck here. But the Horde still are going to be raining terror from above here as they will spot Heaven and Zayn.
Gaming Gladiators down to that solo, by the way, just trying to play for placement at this point because they see the Horde, and as they make the call, it was inevitable, as the Horde are your Game 1 winners.
I mean, a really good game playing position from the Horde as we see Havoc Legends eliminated, as we're down now to just 7 squads as they all move into this final zone.
Final zone's gonna be crazy with the Cossacks that are still alive here. Pot, UAV, and Zipline Mafia awaken now. Move up for the attack. They're looking at Zipline Mafia, taking a split angle. Gets the one clip here too. See the Kraber shots in the feed onto Prestis here. And Zipline Mafia though, after they lost out on their shield, it's a trade for trade. The Newcastle's gonna be able to prioritize that res. Something different that unfortunately Awaken here get to rely on. Zipline Mafia get eliminated, and they've cleared this northern side. And everybody, by the way, Dan, are currently fighting by this platform, so they just get to walk up for free.
Yeah, Awakened in one of the best positions now. They've been able to flip this map in their favor. There's still a solo in Pot on the northeast that might be able to disrupt things, but this southern side, boy, is it ugly. And actually, if Awakened put themselves in a position to just watch over this fight, they might be able to really manipulate it in their favor as well. Just being able to poke damage and encourage these fights from happening. Citadel Gaming still alive though. Infinite are going to be their biggest trouble. You can see the shots coming out. Citadel are going to be able to apply that pressure, but now we're going to have to back off slightly because UAV also trying to get involved on this one.
Saw the amount of damage that Citadel Gaming has just been able to put down. It's a matter of time before that electrified dome goes down, but no way! They hit his toe, knock it off his foot, and they get the knock before the TP could come out that was put in place for them to reposition on the high ground.
So Infinite and Citadel are full 3, as are Awakened, but as for Pot and Made in Heaven, they are solos, but it's a solo Caustic on the side of Pot, a solo Altar on the side of Made in Heaven. They can both affect this endgame in very different ways. I'm sure if you're the Altar, you're going to be dancing around trying to survive, playing for top 3. If you're the Caustic, then you've got to just get that ultimate down and get the gas to try and do as much damage as possible in that endgame. See if you can pick up some KP. But now Citadel Gaming are going to be under pressure here. It's going to be Infinite taking the fight to them, whilst the solos, by the way, aren't joining in on this.
And they want to be able to capitalize on getting some free KP too. The Caustic putting them in the Dutch oven. You can hear the Caustic traps getting put down. Gashea, with losing out on Remix, is a big first pickoff. They do not have that res. They do not have that knockdown shield to play off of. Infinite are going to get eliminated. 4 squads left. Pot is still alive. Awakened are currently looking at Citadel Gaming, and Made in Heaven was trying to greet them as a solo. Zuni misses out on the Kraber shot. Gets a quick shield swap, by the way. Is literally dancing on them before trying to find another pick. Here comes another shield swap. Here, Made in Heaven do finally get called out, and it's going to be Awakened, Citadel Gaming, and the soul that is Pot. And now Citadel, they go down. Final squad, Awakened, walk up for free after they clear their backs as a full 3-man and take game number 2.
I was going cross-eyed trying to keep up with the Void Passages back and forth, but in the end, it is Awakened who come out on top. This is a duo here.
And this is chess, but it's also a little bit of luck. It's a dice roll. If you get a situation like that, there's no way Pryaniki is going to be able to reset the way that GG just did. However, Pryaniki has made it so that they don't have to reset. They're playing their composition so well based on its strengths that it's impossible for anyone to find a moment to take advantage of something that they're making a mistake. Exhibit comes down here, so they'll have the vision underneath. Jan's throwing out the riot drills, wants to peek. Careful, Jans. Don't poke that head out too far. And plus, Kus loses a lot of damage. There's the catalyst wall. A defensive bombardment right here. That would end Pryaniki, but down below, Naxinek and Tyler, they're just trying to survive, so nobody is focusing them with big ults.
Dark Veil's giving them so much coverage, but they tried to push up on Infinite and were denied instantly by the Watson fences, and now the Newcastle wall comes out, but Infinite will be deleted as they try to. Pryaniki and Made in Heaven working together against Infinite at the moment, and Pryaniki have stayed healthy here. That's the important thing. They have to stay as a full 3, which they've done so, and now Made in Heaven pushing in.
Oh my god, Pryaniki trying to make it feel like this fight was made in hell for Made in Heaven, and it seems like they're doing a good job of it, but they're so low. Jans with the riot drill has a lot of potential here, but it's not going to reach. He's got to do it with the bullets of the R9, and what a gun to do it with, and he'll get the job done. Pryaniki sit in zone all game long. They show a masterclass of what Seer and Maggie can do in the ALGS.
And you just have a little bit of everything if you top that off with Nags, who is just an incredible in-your-face style player. And there's a reason why they're on 33 points at the moment in second place and very close to being first place as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them topping the table after this match 4 with the position they find themselves in at the moment. But they are still being contested. 3 men starting to get involved. Made in Heaven having to take the fight. Bandits also joining in as well. We'll see the res come through from Nags, you'd imagine. But the real question is, are you going to be able to do it? Yes, you can. And now you're back up to 2.
It's just hard, too, with the zone closing in behind their backs. They're going to have to start moving soon, and other teams are going to look at them when they're out in the open, little to no cover. Yeah, sure, you get the res. The Newcastle playing around the other wall, holding a different off angle, but the riot drill is forcing so much pressure onto Nags. Can he pull off this res? He has the purple knockdown, but it's taking a good amount of that damage. But with the zone closing in, they help him out. Literally one-shot bandits get eliminated eventually, and Made in Heaven are the only team with the freedom here. Thank goodness that they have a Newcastle, because that would have been the end of their game.
It might still be, with they are being peppered by all the other teams that are in the same position right now. Look at that circle. It is literally 3 teams versus 1 at the moment. If Made in Heaven can reposition and stabilize here, of course, they will be in a really good spot, but they are a duo at the moment. You have to remember that. But it is still achievable. They can use this cannon to their advantage, certainly play behind it, whereas all these other teams are going to have to start worrying about one another. Mamma Mia, Infinite, and Heavener are very much noisy neighbors right now. And yes, they were all looking over towards Made in Heaven, but the fact that now Made in Heaven have been able to move away, suddenly they have to start worrying about each other.
Eventually here, as the portal place comes in, they get the beacon as well as the banner. They're looking to bring the third in, and while these teams eventually collapse on one another, one member of Mamma Mia is looking to extend. They close in the gap with the portal play, forcing them to hold back together because they get beam. Nags on fire with these shots. The Newcastle play here with the infinite ammo comes in clutch. He gets the knock with 4 squads left, and they get the respawn.
They get the res. I mean, Nags and Tyler holding them off. If you wanted 2 players to try and hold off, they are 2 of the best roller players you can have as they get another knock. Mamma Mia eliminated. We're down to 3 squads, and Made in Heaven have reset because Heavener and Infinite are just sitting back in the moment because Infinite are peppering Heavener, and it's going to allow Made in Heaven to be able to hold this spot. Another portal is going to come out here from Infinite to try and get behind and maybe reposition.
I was wondering if he was trying to go for a kidnap there, but then he would have put himself in between Made in Heaven. The fact that Made in Heaven pulled that off too in that previous fight as a 2v3 and then pull off the res. Heavener looking at Infinite, who tried to make a portal play into going onto Made in Heaven. They also have a Newcastle wall, and Heavener know that they want to clear their backs. They're going to be able to try to fully extend onto Infinite, but Nags is farming. They get the res, they move out of a terrible position, and they're looking to take the win. Coming in for the 3P, they see the Newcastle wall, they slide in, the backs against the wall with the zone, and they do it. Made in Heaven make the miracles happen, and they take game number 4 off of a res and clearing out a whole team with a 2-man.
Preston and Ozis, they're just up top. They're causing mayhem. They are not in a great position to win this, but because they're a duo and because they have height and longbows, their pressure is immense. It's forcing all these teams to fight against each other. This could be exactly what they want.
And now they're going to be able to take this fight after they were able to get that res originally, but it's going to be chaos. You get KP, you get KP, kinda! He sees a buffet, and he feasts. Everybody was one shot, but there's not much you can do. You have to go into the zone. Can he get another one? No, he cannot, but he was moving on them, Rain, and now Made in Heaven in a similar predicament, but they have the Newcastle, and they have the res.
I mean, they could be alive. This Newcastle's been amazing from the side of Nags. They've got a Pathfinder, too. What can Zenetic do? Can he pull off some heroics with a grapple? The Rampart walls go up for 1. No Maggie drill. They're happy about that. They can take a deep breath. And 52, 52, 52. It's all that Zenetic can see. It's 52. But now he sees bullets and an exhibit coming down. Nags has 1 mobile shield. He gets silenced just after it, so it buys him some time. But it's looking tough for Made in Heaven. And he grapples up, and he does not come down. Rest in peace.
You know what they say, what goes up has to come down eventually, and he goes down to the lobby. 3 men now. capitalize on their opportunity. Car in hand, as they're going to be able to find another one. And the back-to-back as 3 men clutch out in a very difficult predicament in a zone like this, and they clean up the rest of the lobby.
I mean, whoever wins this engagement between these 3 teams will be in such a brilliant position for the endgame on the southeast side. But at the moment, no one really able to get the better of another because you're just so worried about the third party. Now we check in with the lobby leaders, Made in Heaven. Definitely have the chance to try and use any sort of rocks and buildings they can to get closer. This could be a huge fight here. Great damage initially from Cinetic.
The fact that they were able to close in the gap and not get shot out, though, is huge here for Made in Heaven because they were in a difficult position behind the rock. They reset after they were able to get the res, and they're facing up against Pot, who currently sits in second place with 51 points. Made in Heaven wanting to engage on their lead. They have the Sheila. They're playing up the high ground. They're looking at the action up ahead, and they're capitalizing off of a rotate instead. They haven't got it down yet. That's actually insane that they got away with that.
This is an attempt to win the game, but it's not going well at the moment. Cinetic and Nax down. Tyler falls as well as Made in Heaven eliminated. So job done. Pot now have the opportunity to potentially win this match week if they can stay alive themselves. And of course, they need 9 more points to surpass Made in Heaven here. So it isn't done just yet. They still have to do quite a bit here, but certainly have the opportunity now.
Before Pot now look over to the left side of the action, that could be their opportunity to move forward, but there is a solo waiting right behind Pot. They're not going to take shots because their priority is surviving. That's Suki, by the way. ZQ still down to a duel that is infinite because everyone's also trying to help with the suppressed fire, but they're right here next to them. The Sheila! There's only so much you can do, but playing around their own rampart wall, they're back against the zone. It's just too much pressure. Gaskin Blessed is still here putting in the pressure with the Hemlock themselves. The solo's still alive. 6 squads left. Citadel, another solo that's directly in the middle of the horde.
I mean, it's a fantastic comp to work with as well here for Pot. They have the ability to use the bubble and, of course, the caustic gas later on, and they have the Pathfinder for rotation if they want to use it. They don't know there's a solo right next to them, by the way, which could be massive, not only for the extra placement, but also an extra KP, as Heaven have 1 remaining player who are just behind Pot and actually could be a thorn in their side if they don't spot them quickly, as in 10 seconds, Pot are going to have to move, as eyes on the second place team right now. Where do they go? It's a similar attempt. It's a zip into the center zone, but they're being pressured, but the bubbles come out, and now the push comes from the Horde, who look to try and win this one for Made in Heaven, and it looks like they've done just that, because Pot get eliminated. Surely one last ditch attempt. How are they still alive? Finally they go down as Pot are done.
I was looking at that caustic gas and it just took chunks out of them. Suki, by the way, is getting some KP. They get Kazak, the solo that is having her right now. Pot just trying to take a book out of the Made in Heaven playbook, and now Hoarder looking at having her Blessed capitalize. They wrap up behind them. The solo now is looking down at the 3 men that is Blessed, but can DSK actually be the saving grace for this solo to pop off?
And what a chance for Heaven to try and put more points on the board as well. G-Dolphin gets spotted from behind. Suki goes down, though. Down to the last 2. It's Blessed versus DSK. Blessed just as a duo, but that doesn't mean this is done just yet. They've got the high ground now. Look at this positioning from Max Strafey.
Pathy mates, it's time to feast. Max Strafey in prime positioning right now, but Min needs help. He needs help right now, Max. It's just down to the solo. In this 2v2 now going down, Max Strafey goes crazy. Has to go back, no. But the ring actually ends up being the double-edged sword here. DSK, even on the low ground, are able to take our final game of the day.
What a day for Made in Heaven. Pot will take second, which is, hey, no slouch for that. They got a win in the last time they played A versus B. Well, now they get second place in this one. So that's huge for them. And Made in Heaven, guys, they've been getting a 6th place, and they also got a 4th place. Well, now they're finally in 1st. That jumps them up to 2nd overall in EMEA, Vicky. A great performance from them, and certainly has brought them back into the conversation of a team that, without an org, should be getting one very, very soon, if not as we get closer and closer towards regional finals in LAN.